Genesis 21. Verse 5. Genesis 21, verse 5. And the Bible says, Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born to him. Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. Abraham was 100 years old when the son Isaac was born unto him. You can be seated. Touch your neighbor and say, he was 100 years old. Tell somebody, say, when God gave him the promise, he was 100 years old. Tell somebody, say, he was 100 years old. Look at somebody and say, how long have you been waiting for God to do something? Now let's talk. Look at somebody and say, let's talk. Let's talk. This morning we were over in Luke chapter 8, around the 41st verse, when we saw, because a lot of us saw it, we read it, we preached about it, and we taught it, but some of us saw it. We saw Jairus go to Jesus, fall down on his knees, and he besought Jesus to come to his house. Some of us in this room, we saw the ruler of the synagogue go to the Lord, fall down on his knees, besought him to go to his house. And we saw as soon as that happened, a rush of people crowded Jesus, sort of pushed Jairus out the way. But there was a determined woman. Tell your neighbor, a determined woman. Although Jairus was a desperate man, there was a determined woman. Can I say something to you? A determined woman is more dangerous than a desperate man. The aspect of a desperate man suggests that a desperate man will lower himself to accomplish something that he needs. He will submit himself to others and put himself in an uncompromising position to obtain something that he needs. But a determined woman will push folk out the way to get what she needs. Jairus bowed down. The determined woman crawled and pushed folk out the way. You got to understand that when you want something from God, you can't be as composed as you really are. Tell your neighbor, say, you can't be as composed as you are now. You can't be that composed. You got to understand that although the Lord is blessing you, you cannot be as composed as you want to be. You just can't come in here cool, calm, and collected with your stuff on. You can't come in here with your Louis Vuitton bag, and you can't bust up in here with your Chanel shoes on and say, you blessed me to get this, but I'm not going to praise you for it. If it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't even have it on. But you blessed me to get it. But I'm gonna get to the place where I'm not gonna praise you because what you blessed me with is too good for me to praise you with. And a whole lot of folks, I don't know who I'm talking to. Don't be mad at me. Don't be mad at Bishop if you got on all that stuff and you don't want to break the heel of that Chanel shoe. But if it hadn't been for the Lord, you wouldn't have it on nowhere. You got to understand, if God bless you with one pair, he can bless you with another pair. So the Bible tells us here, that the Jairus somehow or another, he got to the place where he was desperate, but he wasn't determined. Now, I want to talk to somebody just for a few minutes because I asked my friend, Abraham. We tight, we go way back. And I asked him, I said, I'm dealing with this faith thing. I said, can you tell me something, or can you show me something, or can you teach me something about this faith thing? Because not only am I dealing with the dynamic and the aspect of waiting, and sometimes it looks like my patience is running out. I give and I sow and I tithe and I praise and I worship and I attend and I'm obedient. I went to Columbus last week for the High Ground Assemblies, of which we are attached to as well. I went there, and when I went there, Bishop Watkins had me running around. And I had to run around, had to do this, and had to get this together, and I was just being an armor bearer, I know how to do that. But in the midst of my running around, I said to myself, I wish I had my machine with me. Because if I had my machine with me, I could get this done real quick. Because I know folk that can get it done just like that. But see, I didn't have my people with me. So I was in the store in line and waiting and trying to get this done and that done, because you can never lose your humility. Because if you don't understand, God will put you in a position to remind you of where you are now. You wouldn't be where you are now if it had not been for him. So the dynamic of waiting for God to do something, it includes more than waiting. David told me something. I asked him about it. He said, all he said to me was, wait, I say, on the Lord. Be of good courage and wait on him, and he will strengthen the heart. I said, wait just a minute, David. You just told me what I already know. But how do you wait on God when you know God promised you something, and you, like Jairus, is able to see God bless everybody else, but you got to watch everybody else get blessed? You have to stand back and watch this one get blessed. And watch this one get blessed. And Jairus watched the woman with the issue of blood not only get blessed, but she got healed. He was wanting the same thing for his daughter, who was 12 years old. The woman with the issue of blood had been bleeding for 12 years. Same time, same gender, same God. But he looked like he overlooked Jairus. And when Jairus was about to say, Master, I live over here, somebody from his house ran up to him and said, trouble, ye not the master. The daughter you're seeking to be healed has died. And I'm looking and I'm saying, now God, why is it that you put us, some of us, not everybody, but the woman with the issue of blood didn't have to wait after she saw him. She had been bleeding for 12 years, but he was on the scene for only about 2 at the time. She'd heard about him, so she heard that he was a healer, so she went to him. She not only went to him, but she went to every other physician and ran out of money trying to be healed. Didn't take long for her. But he had to somehow or another wait until somebody else got healed. And the waiting process caused it to come to a place where his daughter died. Imagine if Jesus had went with him at first. The woman with the issue of blood, I don't really think she'd have died if he'd have went down the street and healed his daughter and then come back and dealt with the woman with the issue. But she was so determined that she busted up the conversation that Jesus was having with Jairus and said, I've been bleeding for 12 years. My time has come. Now watch this. This is key. So I wondered what he was doing to Jairus. Look at somebody and say, I wonder what he's doing to me too. Look at somebody and say, have you ever seen somebody else get what you're praying for? Have you ever seen somebody else get healed while you're praying to be healed? Somebody else get the promotion that you need so bad. Somebody else's business take off while yours is still floundering. What is he doing? So I went and I asked Abraham, and you know what he told me? He said, ask Sarah. He said, because Sarah was the one that was going to be pregnant. He said, I kept doing all I could do. I was doing my duty. But it looked like Sarah was not connecting. And she could not be pregnant. All she had was a promise. My message today is to somebody that all you got is a promise. But how many folk know in the house that Jesus keeps his promises? You know, I got to keep telling you what my mama said. He may not come when you want him to. I got a saint in the house. I feel you. I got somebody sanctified up in here. I don't know who you are, but I feel you in the house. Somebody sanctified up in here. All you got is a promise.